All right. It's early and yeah, I'm in the mood. I realize that I don't really like talk about like anime and video game stuff that often, especially not on the stream, because it's like hard to like fit that in. But yeah, today we're just gonna be talking about some video game stuff and some anime. This was just sort of like a last minute like change because I was actually going to play something, but I was like, I was in this like talk with my boss last night about the state of the video game business and like how poorly it's doing. It's like Ubisoft is estimated to lose like another 9% at the end of this. I think it's at the end of this week in terms of like stockholder like percentages, and that's on top of like the fact that like they've lost 10% the week before and another 10 the week prior to that. So by the end of this week, they're estimated to have lost like 90% of their stock shares. And it's just like bruh, like it's, and I jokingly was like, man, I was like, that's crazy. What could possibly be going on that Ubisoft is like hemorrhaging money? And it's like, if you've done any bit of like research or like looking into the state of what's going on with them, they just, how do I put this? The woke, like the woke stuff is causing them to just die. It's obvious. Like there's no point in like being coy about that or anything. So I mean, and the fact that they like keep doubling down on it, and then it's finally like the fact that they may have like trademarked the actual like Nobunaga flag that the Japanese people used during their like Renaissance reenactments. It's like basically like stealing and hijacking their culture and changing it to be whatever they want it to be. It's kind of crazy. Like at some point, like nobody's going to have any tolerance because for this stuff. But it was I'm trying to remember like what all we was talking about last night, because there was a lot. It was like one of those like rabbit hole discussions that like one topic led to another and then another, and let's see, so that led into Outlaws and how terrible that game is doing. It just busted. Like it looks like, I was like, I guess I should probably like preface that this is like, I'm an adult and this is definitely a very opinionated stream today. So I'm probably going to say maybe some naughty words. So be in mind, I'm an adult. I will probably be using adult language, and you have basically been warned. So, and that's why I added the little stream tag at the bottom, like let's get canceled, because I don't know what's going to be said today. Hopefully I'm not like stepping on any toes, but circling back to the conversation that led to that, Outlaws looks like shit, yo. Like, and that sucks. I was like, the gameplay looks terrible. The models look terrible. The point of the game is looks aimless. It's kind of crazy how bad Outlaws looks. It's like there are instances where it's like the AI, like even the AI is poorly programmed. And it's just, and they were showing this off like it was some sort of great thing for, like, in their like, what is it, the gameplay trailers, and it's just like, it looks like shit, yo, like, for real. I don't know who the game is for. I'm definitely not for gamers.
Shit. Minato 2 lurk.
Hey, welcome in. Yeah, like the Star Wars Outlaws looks like shit. There's no other way to describe it. Like, the gameplay looks like crap. The story looks nonsense. The models, like, I feel so bad for the female models, like, that do the mocap for these games.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Right? Like, the 3D, like the women who do the models, like, do the mocap, are beautiful women, and they take what's there and they make them look ugly. I don't get it. But the guys that do the modeling and stuff for the mocap, and basically, like, what's the Star Wars Outcast? No, what's the other Star Wars game with the one that looks like a Souls game? I type in Star Wars, I get Outlaws and Acolyte. That's a different type. Like, I could probably talk some crap about some Acolyte. Souls, like Fallen Order. Yeah. The guy that they used for Fallen Order is literally, like, the model is literally the dude who did the mocap. Like, it's literally him, unchanged. I was like, so it's like, whatever. Like, you can let the men look like fuckboys, but you can't make the women even remotely attractive? It's annoying, dog. It's fucking crazy, the gaming industry where it is right now. Yeah, if you, like I said before, like, this is going to be a very opinionated podcast, and I added a tag being like, let's get canceled, because I'm going to be talking some shit today. Dude, I just, like, I just wish that they were making games for gamers right now, because it's just like, nobody's playing these games. Nobody wants to play them. It's just crazy. It's just one crazy, like, just fire after another. Like, Ubisoft's losing money. They're hemorrhaging money. They're losing stocks from their stockholders. Like, it's like, and it's just because they keep doubling down. It's just annoying. Like, dude, just make a game. Like, nobody cares. And, like, while we're at it with the Acolyte, like, Star Wars, the last 10 years of Star Wars has just been dog water. Like, it's crazy, like, how bad, like, the movies, the shows, the games. Like, I just want, like, a really cool, like, sci-fi game. Like, I'm tired of medieval fantasy and stuff like that. Like, I'm just tired of it. Like, there's some games that I'm okay with it, like Monster Hunter, like Wukong, Black Myth Wukong. I'm okay with that being some, like, because it's like the fantasy of fantasy. Like, Journey to the West is like one of the what, 7 original stories that's ever been made in the world's history. So it's the most fantasy of fantasy. It's like Black Journey to the West in context to storytelling is like Dragon Ball Z to anime. Like that's how crazy. Like I'm that's why I'm okay with those. Like Monster Hunter, like the setting makes sense. I don't mind it being medieval, but there's like some sci-fi stuff. But when you read the art, when you go through the art books, you find out that it's a post-apocalyptic world and people are trying to rebuild civilization. And then you just have like people who are playing these, like people who are creating these games that are just basically like thespian D&D players or people who have only read 3 books in their entire life. And those 3 books are Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and Lord of the Rings. And it's just like, dude, like give me something new, give me something fresh. It's crazy. Like I just want a cool like sci-fi game. Is that so hard to ask for? Like, where's the competition? Like I'm tired of medieval fantasy. Like was showing me, what was it? Showing me this RPG. Let me pop open. Claire Obscure Expedition 33. It kind of looks cool, but it's a fantasy game. It looks like medieval fantasy game. It looks boring. It's turn-based. I'm also tired of turn-based at this point. We have an entire gaming division, and we're making what? Like, what are we making? Like really bad, like third-person shooters in turn-based strategy games? Like what the heck, man? I was like, we had what? The Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which was a gas game that was just shooters and villains, which I don't care much for shooters. I don't like villains. We had what? Concordant. Like it didn't even last a week. And I'm seeing like, I don't know if it's like bull shots or like fake art, but like you could see what Concord, like the initial designs of Concord from like 8 years ago when it was in original development, because Blizzard dropped Overwatch out of nowhere. And like I was like, the characters look great, and then you see the characters now in Concord and they look like shit. It's crazy. There's gonna be a lot of shit probably being said. Like just the word itself. But dude, like looking at like the context for it was like some other developer made like their own art of the original design of the characters, and it's just like, okay, if it's not, I was like, if it's not real that was the original design of it, at least like they redrew the art, the original art, and it looked great. It looked like the hero shooter Overwatch. And it was been like, okay, like you probably had something there, and then you made garbage. Oh man, it's like all of it's crazy. It's like shooter this, shooter that, weird fantasy turn-based. Okay, so the reason why I'm not interested in the Expedition 33 game that M linked me, it's cause it's a fully 3D rendered game with 3D rendered environments, and it looks great, but it's a turn-based strategy game. And it's like, you put this much effort into the game, making it look pretty, and you decide to handicap it with probably one of the worst action combat systems known to man. Like, why would you do this to, like, do you just, like, what came down? Were you like, well, we have to make it accessible to like iPad gamers? It looks like, ah, man, I'm just getting so annoyed. And it's like, okay, we gotta make sure that, like, the people that play on their phones or their iPads have a game that they can play. And it's like, well, you're making a full release game that looks like almost AAA. Why? That's the reason why I don't like Honkai Star Rail, because it's like, you make the game look amazing, you make the environments look great, and you cripple it with turn-based strategy or like combat. And it's like, what? They have unique animations for attackings, they have skills, they have alts, and it's like, bruh, like, give me some skill-based combat. Like, give me a game that feels like it's a game. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. That's why Genshin is successful. Like ZZZ, Zone Zero is moderately successful. I mean, it's just another Honkai Third Impact, but it's moderately successful. You can move around your character, do attacks, be like flashy and cool. But like, I'm like, give me some like high octane, like action based combat. Give me like an MMO that's like plays like Devil May Cry 4 or 5. Like, this is the starry state of the world that we're in terms of like Western game development. Like, all of the games that look fire, and like the thing that I want the most, are all coming out from Asian dev studios. Why is that? Why? Oh my gosh. I'm just annoyed. Ugh. I should be having this like on me all the whole time. But let's look at like, but all jokes aside, let's look at some like game. Oh, I thought I was clicked off. Let's see what some game news is going on right now, because so what's okay. PlayStation 5 Pro launches November 7th for $699. That's according to a Gematsu article. Let me see. Final Fantasy 14 news, which is nothing. Something about a raid guide. This is a PC gamer. Oh, Gematsu, Native American inspired point and click adventure game. Why? Okay, that's the worst. That is the worst gaming experience. Point and click adventures. Get out of here, dude. Like, you had me at Native American inspired, and you lost me at point and click, like, immediately afterwards. Mortal Kombat 1 expansion. There's a spray paint simulator that was announced for PC. According to Gamatsu. So like instead of like cleaning, you're spray painting, I guess. Like what is gaming now, dude? I've never been so annoyed in my life when it comes to this. And then what else? Oh right, I was gonna make a point about it's like
Arashi 64 wave.
hey, what's up, Sal? Yeah, we're talking a lot of crap about the game industry right now. I just need to get this stuff off my chest because it's like been burdening me for the last like last month. And it's not like I have an outlet. I haven't done the podcast in forever because it's like one of those things where it's like I've been busy.
I'm talking crap about the PS5 Pro right now. Smiley face.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just saw the article like a second ago that in my other Discord that it was like it's a pro, the pro version. I've not looked at it. I'm sure it might be decent, who knows? But yeah. And then like what? Sony dropped Studio Japan. Like the people that have made like a bunch of games that like Ape Escape, Bloodborne, Gravity Rush. What are some of the other games? Yeah, that happened out of nowhere. And I want to think that it was probably due to Concord. I don't know if Studio Japan had anything to do with Concord, but like if it did, because you have to understand this, like the timeline of this. Concord started development 8 years ago after Overwatch, right? And they spent better part of a decade making a game from the ground up, and they probably at some point could have released it at any given point. But no, they decided to stick it out, burn more money on its development, and then it comes out. So in the initial alpha, I want to say, no, maybe a private beta, they had like 3,000 people testing the game, right? And then a couple weeks later, they had an open beta, and then they had like 1,000 players. So they lost players between the private beta and the open beta. And then the game comes out. I think it was a Monday of like last week, like the first of the week, and it doesn't even have enough players to do matchmaking. There was like, I think its entire like life span after its release had like 750 players, and then I think it hit as low, the lowest like, and still an active average of like 120 players. Like, there's so few players that you can't even play any other mode except for like the main mode of the game, which is like, I guess there's like team deathmatch, capture the flag, or King of the Hill, or whatever style games, and it's just they just can't. You can't play those games. You have to play the team fight where everybody's at. And it's allegedly, I think it's what was it? I think it was last Monday. No, wait, this was like 2 weeks ago. So like last Monday, they announced that Concord was just going to die. And Sony would refund people. That's the craziest part. Sony does not refund people. I don't know if you know this. Like, this is just something that they just don't do. So, look, the last time they ever refunded money was Cyberpunk. The 2077 by CG Projekt? No, Project. Wait, what are the? No, they're CD Projekt. They're not CD Projekt anymore. They're Project Red. I almost forgot about that. Because they changed their name in anticipation for Cyberpunk. I don't know why. They just did. But yeah, the game was so Cyberpunk came out. I don't know if you remember this. You couldn't play the game. It was awful. Like, none of the systems worked. Like the notoriety system didn't work. The AI wasn't working. I mean, obviously the AI factors into the notoriety, but like but when you actually have to like preface that it's two separate issues, like there's something more going on there. But yeah, like Sony has only ever refunded 2 games. And that's kind of crazy. And there are physical copies of that game. Like there are stores that bought that game and are trying to sell it right now. So like, what's going to happen when somebody buys the game because it's still on the shelf, and they get an error as soon as it they put the game in, it starts downloading the stuff. It goes through the downloading process, and you open the game and it's just instant error. There's no way to like get around it. Like, they don't even have single player. There's no like campaign or anything. There's nothing there for a single player experience. It's just a full online multiplayer shooter game, right? And that's all. That's like, what's going to happen there? Are the stores going to also refund it? Or are they just trying to like, well, we have all this in stock, we need to get rid of it? You know what I mean? Like, this is kind of a crazy situation. I can't think of any other game that's been like that. Actually, no, there is one. I just can't think of the name right now. What's the name of the game? It was sort of an online game too. Oh my gosh, what is it? It's there in the memory bank. I just can't think of it. But it was like a live service game, kind of like Concord, and it. Oh no! It was Fallout 76, right? But that was a different situation. Like Fallout 76 is still alive, I think. But at the time, so it went from being a full-on like game to purchase, and then it went immediately to a free-to-play game, probably within its opening release month. So you had businesses that effectively had spent money for a game that became free. And I was like, that's messed up. Like, you effectively turned a $60 game into a $0 game for like physical purchase. And that was, wait, what year was that? What year did Fallout 76 come out? Was that 2019? 2018. I was off by a year. I knew it was pre-Pando, but I just couldn't remember. Just trying. But yeah, it did the pandemic like screw up video gaming? Maybe. I have noticed like a sharp decline in gaming since 2020. It just could be like me, like, you know, hindsight, because, you know, I love how the pandemic turned like the turn of phrase like hindsight is 2020 into like a real thing that probably will cause people PTSD. But whatever. It's funny. Just like one of those like retrospects. The burden of being a first world country. Well, I guess continent for my case. Let me see. It's been a minute since I've looked at any like Nintendo stuff. Looks like some amiibos. Just Dance 2025 edition. Cool. That's actually that wasn't me being sarcastic. That was me actually like kind of excited about that. Let me see. 2K25. That one I don't really care much for. Mario Party. Ace Attorney investigation. Wait, what is that? No, okay. I thought that was a different word for a second. Ace Attorney Investigation Collection out now. That was when? 4 days ago. Okay. I haven't been on this Discord for game news in a minute. Some Legend of Zelda. Echoes of Wisdom. Gameplay. What's something cool? Wait, what is this? There's a Carmen Sandiego game? What? Okay. Let me open this up. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? This time you decide. The world's greatest thief is back, and this time she needs your help. Carmen Sandiego is coming to Switch in 2025. Oh, I thought maybe that was one of those like pictures with a link. That's kind of crazy, actually. Why did the comment section is funny. It's like, why does she look like Pauline from, is it Mario Odyssey? No. What was it? New Donk City? I don't remember what game that was in. There's too many Mario games to keep track of now. I'm curious. There's no gameplay or anything. It's just like an announcement that, hey, this game is coming out. It's Nintendo. Let them cook, I guess, right? I'm excited for it, to say the least. Hop over to PlayStation news channel. Let's see. Yeah, sorry if I'm being quiet. It's like I'm just kind of like going through the past week of like posts from the studios and the journalism, the soft journalism, not the hard sticky journalisming that you're akin to seeing on the news. Michael Myers enters Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 in Warzone Season 6. Okay. Who is that for? I don't know. Okay, so the last thing that got posted, it looks like PlayStation is live right now. Nani? Oh wait, yeah. Wait, are they actually having a state of play right now? Oh, I have no time to watch it, so. The journey continues with PlayStation 5 Pro. Larger GPU, advanced ray tracing, AI-driven upscaling, PlayStation's spectral super resolution. I have no idea what that is. I figured there's some, I mean, there's something there, right?
Hi Arashi. I'm a be listening while working Spoon 5 Peak.
All right, thank you, Bunny. Hopefully I don't distract you too much. But yeah, I'm just going through gaming news and ranting. I did remember that I put a pin in a conversation from earlier that I do want to circle back to. Look at me, sounding like Jim Pisacki. I'm so special. Oh, right, there's an Indiana Jones game that's coming out. Which I don't know, whatever. I was not like super invested in Indiana Jones based, like the IP that is Indiana Jones, I guess. Kingdom Hearts Intergram Master.
For that one, haha.
Right. Kingdom Hearts Intergram Masterpiece Bundle? What is that? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. It's just a, okay, it's a percentage. So if you don't have Kingdom Hearts on PC via Steam, they have a super bundle of Kingdom Hearts Final Mixes 1, 2. They have 3 with the Remind DLC and the prequel to 3, the 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, for a grand total of $99.99 USD. I do not feel like looking at what that looks like in my country's currency. It's probably gonna be like 130 or something. But yeah, apparently it would have been, you're saving $60 USD for the game. So just letting you guys know that that is a thing. I don't know how long it's going to be there for, but do check it out. Video game or fighting game news. It looks like everybody's talking about Terry Bogard right now in Street Fighter 6. But that's kind of an old story. Let's see if I can find anything new that's happening in the fighting game genre. Why? You know what? Never mind. I'm not even going to question it. Because I was like, why is there a HoloLive personality playing Street Fighter 6? And then I was like, actually, there's a couple of them that do that. More color packs and Guilty Gear Strive. Yeah, nothing really going on. It's like we're kind of in a lull right now in terms of like video game news, which is kind of like why I wasn't really doing that much, like why I wasn't doing much of the podcast. There was kind of something crazy that kind of affected me recently. I don't remember his name per se, but like one of the head Capcom people left, and he was sort of like the director of Devil May Cry and also I think Dragon's Dogma. I know he said he was gonna still like he's not leaving the gaming industry, but he's moving to do his own thing. He basically was like, I made what I wanted to make. But so I'm out, which is respectable. Like know when you don't want to be there. You know what I mean? But like he loves Devil May Cry 5. It would not surprise me if like he makes another like spin-off. Maybe it might be like Angels May Wrath. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, so I'm basically caught up with the gaming news. But so let's like hop back into like the point that I was trying to make earlier, because M brought up the Expedition 33 of Claire Obscura. I believe it's what the game was called. And it's a Angels May Wrath, yeah. Who knows? I was gonna probably go with like Angels May Mad, but I don't think that works. So I don't know if it's aware. So Devil May Cry, I believe, was like named after a movie that the guy liked, and it was called Devils May Care. That's your fun fact about Devil May Cry games right there. I think that's what it is. Devil May Care. Apparently there's a hotel called Devil May Care. Or a lounge, but I don't think that's what it's based on. But I do remember it was like a TV series or a movie from like a long time ago. But I'm not seeing it, so on the initial like look through. But yeah, Claire Obscura Expedition 33 is a turn-based RPG with quick time events. M really is down for it. I'm not. It's a turn-based game that is fully 3D. The models are everything's 3D rendered, the models, the environment, and it like hamstrings itself on being a turn-based game because it's like, I want to cater to people who play on mobile and or the iPad. And it's like, at some point there needs to be like a cutoff in terms of like the effort put into a game, that it just has to be a different genre. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to put that much effort into a game that has 3D models and 3D environments and like great visual effects and stuff like that, like it has to not be like a turn-based or a turn-based, a side scroller or whatever. Like whatever, like low grade mechanical like overhead. Like for those that aren't, let me switch over and like so Claire Obscure
product not yet rated.
Let's mute that just in case. Oh. So like, look at this game, right? It looks great, right? This is like what I'm talking about. Like, three models look impeccable. The environments look crazy and interesting.
Whoa.
Right. And then it's turn-based with QTEs. And it's like, yo, if you're going to put this much effort into making the game look cool and amazing, like, why hamstring yourself?
They ruin the ITT.
Exactly. And like, my threshold for like games is getting very, very low, I guess. But it's like one of those things where it's like, if you're putting this much effort into a game, why hamstring yourself into genres that don't feel right with the game? That's my thing. And it's like, and the only explanation for it is that you're deliberately you're deliberately catering to a very specific group of individuals that have a low buy-in to the game industry. That's sort of where I'm at. And it's like, yo, like, can we make games for gamers? Like, what's the, what was the, so they made a Prince of Persia game. What was it called? Was it The Lost Crown? Yes, it was. So this is another one of these games where it's like, look at art style is whatever, but it's 3D rendered. The models are fairly decent. The environments are cool, and it's a 2D side scroller. Like, could you imagine if this was actually like a game like Wukong or Dark Souls? Or just like other just like, you know, other Prince of Persia games? But then it got into like, this should be a game that should have been like pixel art or something. This is more in depth. This is not the actual launch trailer. This is a completely different trailer. Oh, there's a demo though. And they basically was like, and this was my talk with my boss last night about the state of the gaming industry for that, where it's just like, the buy-in is so low for very specific genres of gaming that it feels weird and superfluous that they're just doing all of this stuff for minimal mechanical overhead for the genre that they're trying to play, like to go into. And for those that I realize I use an interesting word. Superfluous is like an old-timey word that has where the meaning is a different word but with a qualifier. So superfluous means that it's unnecessary, but with the qualifier of like you did you did more than what was needed for the job. That's basically what superfluous means. And it's just like, basically it's like overkill, right? That's your word of the day, superfluous. Or word of the week. I don't know what other big words I have in my repertoire, but I've got them. I just don't use them because I like to be able to communicate to the lowest common denominator. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like if you're putting this much effort into a game to make it look amazing with like potentially good combat, you hamstring yourself.
Haha, that's word I ain't gonna remember. Spoon 5Q.
What, overkill? Weird. But yeah, it's kind of, and he basically, I was like, I would much rather like these games be in Nar. But yeah, it's and he, so it's, I was like, I would much rather these games be in a 2D or pixel art style where one, you could probably get the product out way faster because it's not like there's not like a lot of sophisticated mechanics with the game with these like specific genres. Like take a side scroller like Kirby or Mario, like those games aren't really that complex. Like they're not doing something that's so crazy. Like the only thing that it does, like in Kirby's case, like it's a cutesy art style, bright colors and whatever, and it's aimed for kids. I mean, it being a side scroller is not indicative of like it being directed towards kids. It's just one of those things where it's just like well, the threshold is so low for developing a game in this genre that it's like we can get away with making something really cartoony and vibrant and appealing to the eyes of more people, including children. But then when you get to the nitty gritty, like when you have like, what is it? What we just watched? Oh, Prince of Persia, The Last Crown or The Lost Crown. Like that's a side scroller too, but it looks super actiony. And I don't think Prince of Persia games have ever been side scrollers. Like maybe back in the day when it was on the NES. But like ever since its return to the original PlayStation with Sands of Time, like it's always been like a 3D like platformer or platformer game. I almost said side scroller, but like I just remembered. But like, yeah, it's a platformer, action combat. Like things are cool. Magic dagger. And yeah, and now it's their newest version of it is a side-scrolling action game, like a Metroid. It probably is a Metroidvania. Now that I think about it, but I've not played it because I'm like, no. It probably took them longer to make the game because of the 3D. Like this is the thing. I was like, I think developing like 3D rendering and development is more intensive labor than like hand sketched art or pixel art. But that's the thing, like turn-based strategy games like can get away with having like moderate complexity and still look visually appealing. Like Pokemon, for example, like should never have gone to pixel or gone away from pixel because it's only gotten less appealing to the fans of the game because you have completely 3D rendered Pokemon and environments, and you still are using turn-based as the primary means of like conveying a story, when it's like you could do so much more because you have all of these things like there. Like, could you imagine if like the Pokemon game wasn't a turn-based strategy and it was actually like an arena battler? Kind of like Pokken, maybe, but like not really. Like that would go so hard. So like you just like get into a Pokemon battle and you're like fighting in like whatever environment that you was in during, like when you ran into the trainer, like dipping and dodging between rocks and stuff to avoid getting hit by attacks, and then like jumping over obstacles. Kind of like what I think Pal World should do, honestly. I think Pal World, like, you should probably just be the pal when you're in battle. But I don't think they have a gaming. I don't think they have anything that I don't think they have a way of doing that right now. Like you can kind of do it with some rideable Pokemon or rideable pals. But yeah, it's not really a thing. But that's what I mean, like you're putting this much effort into, which is in retrospect like no effort, but like you're putting that much effort into making the game look good. You could completely change its genre like with like what you're doing.
If Pokemon was like that, I would actually play the newer Pokemons.
Exactly. Like you're putting that much work in making the game look visually more appealing that you could potentially just change the genre completely. Like how many games has Digimon have where they just flip the script on the gameplay depending on what game it's in? Like Cyber Sleuth is very different. Digimon Survive is very different. The World games are even more different than that. Like there's like so many different genres that, and they can curate the art style to be to fit that. But, and this is, and the reason why I could probably say like it should never have left pixel art, because the burden of like going into this like 3D space with the newer games has only made Pokemon less, I say less popular, but it's the biggest. It's still like, it's still huge. It's still bigger than Star Wars. It's still bigger than Hello Kitty. But like, but I think the reason why the sales are still good is because like people are still obligated to buy and play the games if they've been with the series for so long. I've almost completely checked out. I don't know anything about the newer Pokemon games. Like, I played Legends, and that was a very different game in retrospect, but it was still a turn-based strategy, like with very little complexity. I don't know. It's just one of those things. But if they stuck with the pixel art, like, people say that the pixel art like is sort of dying, which is true. I don't think there's a lot of people that still do pixel art.
X and Y. Same anything after no clue.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. Like, I played X and Y. I did play Sun and Moon. I do think that was probably the better of the 3DS games. But it was such a, like, what's the word? A commemoration of all of the previous generations in one game. Because you got to see like Red and Blue after 10, like, who were like 10 years older. And just Chads. People from the Battle Frontier, past champions. It was just one of those things where just like there was like a commemoration of everything before that. So, and the story was pretty good and dark. Very serious in comparison to what Pokemon games have been. But yeah, it's because like we live in a world now also where what's the game? I think it was a pixel art turn-based strategy that Square Enix made. What was it called? What was it called? Hold on. I will. What was it called? It was good. Oh wait, I actually have a physical copy of the game. Give me 1 second. Octopath Traveler. That was the game. And they made a sequel to it also. So it's like so it's basically like one of those things where it's just like well, the game, but nobody likes pixel art or whatever, and it's like Octopath Traveler comes out and it's like one of the most successful new IPs that come out for a turn-based strategy genre of the what came out probably in like 2017, 2018, probably the same year as the other one. Like, it's one of those things. Octopath. 2018, yeah. It was the same year as the other game that I looked up earlier. But yeah. That game came out and it looked amazing. And that could have been a Pokemon. That could have been Pokemon still. Actually, I saw a fan build who was using the Octopath Traveler. I think he was using the Unreal. What was it? There's like an Unreal application that lets you make like side scroller games, and somebody was using that, which they use to make the Octopath Traveler game. But I digress, because it's like they made Pokemon Black and White in that engine, and it looked great, surprisingly. But I don't know, like, fan games are going to be that one thing where fan games and indie games are going to be probably the new way forward at this point, because like the game industry is just dying, and like they're fine with burning money. Like I can't even think of any like games that are coming out in the next couple months. Like the last highly anticipated game that I played, or that I wanted to play, was Black Myth Wukong, and that finally came out, and it's amazing. Like there's just no games anymore. Like I want to see indie devs like make new like Star Wars-esque IPs, because like I love Star Wars, but they're making crappy games, crappy shows. So recently the Acolyte like got canceled on the Disney Plus streaming service or whatever, and like everybody who was nobody who was like mad that got canceled. And it's like, if you wanted it, why didn't you watch it? It was the lowest performing Star Wars series on Disney Plus. And to be in mind, like The Mandalorian is the highest, and it was even lower than Ahsoka in terms of like performance. And it's like, oh, all the people that watched it that didn't like it and said it was bad or whatever, they're all bigots and stuff. And it's like, you could have watched it. Why didn't you? It's crazy. Like you could have watched the series, right? And you could have contributed to it, but no, you didn't watch it, so it didn't get a season 2. It's as good as that. And you guys want to like talk about like, oh, it's historic that there's a people of color or whatever that are the main point. It's the most diverse whatever cast or whatever, and it's like, you can't even tell me what the actors' names are, let alone the characters' names. You're just referring to those people as their physical characteristics. Like every conversation that I've like seen on Twix is like, yo, they're just mad because there was a black girl and an Asian guy in it. And that's like, they have names. Like, why are you only referring to them by their skin color? It's crazy. And we're the bigots for saying that that there's no story, there's no direction. You guys just wasted $180 million on a TV series that did nothing. That went nowhere. And then Disney finally was like, we can't keep doing this. Like I don't know any of the actors, the actors' names. I really watch the series. But like if I did, I would be calling them by their character names, like the characters' names. I wouldn't be saying, "Oh, the black girl and the Asian dude." Like that's racist. What the frick, man? It's just crazy. Choreography, the lightsaber choreographic was crazy, was stupid. Like they were saying that it's amazing, and then it's like this is the same series in which you had Duel of Fates in episode 1. Like one of the most appealing lightsaber battles in cinema history. You know what I mean? It's like, okay. Well, we're the wrong ones, right? And don't get me started on like the fact that the lightsaber changed colors during one of the episodes when it was like, oh, you killed a pedophile and your lightsaber turned red. You're on the dark side now. I would think that your lightsaber would turn like stark white for, you know, doing something just. It's crazy, but you know, it's Hollywood. So maybe they're just saying the quiet part out loud. Who knows? Star Wars is trash. It's trash now. And I think part of the reason why I like Star Wars and like science fantasy is just because it's like, in Star Wars case, like it does this like really interesting like tightrope like method of like storytelling where it's just like it's like if there's too much fantasy going on in like on the screen, it like reminds you, it's like, you know, hey, we're science fantasy too, here's some spaceship battles and droids and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, we're sci-fi, that's cool, I like it. It's like a reminder, just a little reminder of like, oh yeah, we're also this too. Don't think that we're just a one-trick pony. I miss that. It's so cool. There needs to be more. This is such a weird mentality where it's just like Star Wars came out in like the mid 70s and you had 4, 5, and 6. Like mid to late 70s, right? And it was such a big phenomenon because it's like, then because one, it was like 4, 5, and 6 was like George Lucas's like promise that there will be a 1, 2, and 3, and that happened like 30 to 40 years after the original airing of Star Wars New Hope, right? And then you got 1, 2, and 3, and it was a bombshell. It was great. I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, it was just when it's like, why can't we make, like, why can't we compete? You know what I mean? That's my problem. I think that's where I was going with it for the most part. But it's like, why can we compete? Like, can we like make new things? It's like Star Wars doesn't have to be the only the only IP that's out in the world right now that is like a fantasy that's also a science fiction. Like, why aren't we making new stuff? Like the amount of books that got decanonized by Disney when they purchased Star Wars back in, was it like, I don't know when they bought it. It was like maybe 2016, 17. And they just was like, okay, it was like, this is crazy. Like, all of this is going to get slapped with the Legends title, meaning like it's not actually canon to what we're telling. So they like the extended universe that was Star Wars just got like overnight was like, okay, this isn't canon anymore. The only thing that's canon that we care about are the things that are associated with episodes 1 through 6. And obviously those movies as well. And it's such a big misstep that they could have been like, yo, like as soon as they would have like, as soon as that happened, there's all of the artists that got their stuff decanonized should have just been like, okay, well, we're just going to make a new Star Wars, like just a new IP altogether with these collective works that like these hundreds of people who basically now, you have to understand, like the extended universe that is Star Wars is like non-canon material was basically like fan fiction that was published and became a part of the actual mythos or the world building of Star Wars. Like, that's crazy if you actually like think about it. And then overnight it was like, nah, you're not, it's not a part of the mythos anymore. If they had been like, okay, cool, well, I'm gonna change all of the names to of the characters in this book and just make a new Star Wars, just make a new IP, and nobody did it. Why is that? Like, they obviously didn't respect the work that you put in, that they put in. Like, why didn't you just sort of like rewrite the book and just make a new IP that was a rival to Star Wars? It could have been called like Galaxy Conflict for all I give a fuck. Like, just do something. But no. All right, I've been talking about video games and pop culture for too long now. Let's talk about some anime, which is part of what I was wanting to talk about for the most part. Because there's been like a lot of anime that's been going on, and I've not talked about any of it. I'm trying to like now it's like, okay, what's some of the things? So I can't really talk about One Piece because I think a couple of the people that might watch this maybe, or at least like watching it right now, like are in the process of like getting caught up with One Piece. So I can't really talk about it. Wano was amazing. The preamble to we're currently in post Wano, which is sort of the preamble to the next big arc. Like for real, like 10 years, the last 10 years of One Piece.
Please, I kind of up to date, but not. No spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not, I'll be vague. I'm gonna be vague. But like the Wano, like finally concluded, and that was like 10 years of story building finally like paying off in that final arc. And now we're sort of in the post Wano arc right now, where we're getting into like the preamble to what I think is the actual final arc of One Piece. So One Piece, I think, is going to be ending soon, but you can take that with a grain of salt, because I don't know if Oda is going to milk this for another like 5 or 6 years, or 5 or 10 even. So I don't know, but we're gearing towards a final arc. I don't see there going to be anything after what we're getting into. So that's about all I'm going to say or talk about in terms of like One Piece. But shit's great. I love it. But let's see. Oshinoko is really good. If people aren't aware of Oshinoko, or at least watched the first season already, basically, honestly, I can't even really talk about it. But like, if you watch the first episode of it, you basically get it, which the first episode is basically like 3 episodes mixed, like rolled into one like television special. It's like an hour and a half long, and it basically like sets up the entirety of the series. And it's a great watch. But like, yeah, that's been gearing. So when I started watching season 2, I was like, I'm gonna rewatch all of season 1, and I blew through season 1 super quick, and I wasn't expecting that. So then I started season 2, and I'm happy I watched the first season of Oshinoko again, because they do not give a fuck. Like, for real, man. Like, there was no recap. That like there was like, hey, it's been a year since the game, or since the show aired. Like, I thought maybe it was like, yeah, the first episode of season 2 is gonna be like one of those like recap videos. Nope. Just directly into the plot for the next part of the story. Like no hand holding, just like fucking let's go. That was Oshinoko and in season 2, and I appreciate that, because it makes because it's one thing where it's just like well, they either did it because they didn't give a fuck, or they knew you would rewatch season 1 like prior to it airing, which I did. And oh man, there was so many good. So I think I can sort of talk about it, because it's not really that pressing to the main storyline, on top of like the reason why he's doing, like the reason why he's there in the first place. So what they're doing in season 2, at least for the first part of it, is that they are going through the adaptation of a manga into a live stage performance, which apparently is like a big deal in Japan, where they just do like these like live action stage performances of like manga or certain things. And it's actually kind of cool. It makes me want to go back to Japan and see these things, because like this was a brand new thing that I was not aware of. And the acting ironically, like, so it's all of the characters that are taking part in the stage performance are obviously actors, but it's another thing where it's like, it's an anime, so they're already voice acting on top of the acting that they need to do to perform the show. And oh my gosh, it does something that I was not really expecting. And that, like, it goes hard on the animation, because they're like, it's like, hey, it's like crazy visuals, like look like they're like during the rehearsals, like they trying to get serious with, they're like getting serious with it, and like they're like hybridizing between like the character that they're portraying from the manga and their actual like acting self. It's so cool. And that has nothing to do with the plot, the actual plot of the story. It's just like a fun little like visual thing. Yeah, I was enthralled the entire time. And that part of the story is finally ending. So there's a couple of anime that like I kind of started, but kind of like dropped for the most part. There's I might have to actually like look up the English titles to some of these, because I don't. And then there was like some that I picked up partway through that I haven't even actually like watched yet. So Reincarnated as a Slime is still going. It's boring as fuck. Like nothing is going on. And I was just like, man, I really wish that but they kind of have to do it because it's the manga, but like it's so boring. But it's got to be boring, because that's where they are right now. So a lot of like slice of life animes this season. Some I'm sticking with, some I'm not.
Noted, won't watch slime anime, ha.
It's at a lull point. I don't know why they're animating it the way they are, but there's just nothing going on in this season. It's not that it's a bad anime, it's just like there was a clear escalation of like the plot in like the first couple of seasons, and then it just like dropped super hard. And it's not the animator's fault. It's like maybe they could have adapted it better, but there's just nothing going on in this current one. That's episodes. I can look that up real quick. So I believe it would probably be anything after episode 50, maybe. I think that's when this season started. No, 49. Everything after 49. Which is close enough. It's just dead air. Like nothing is going on. I'm watching every week because I like just want to see where it ends up going. So like I don't want to like miss out on like some crazy like. You know what it actually kind of needs? It kind of needs a filler arc. Like and I as much as I hate filler, it kind of needs a filler arc though, because there's so nothing going on that it's like, okay, like throw us a bone, give us some sort of excitement, because everything that's happening right now is boring as fuck. Other than that, like, slime is good. I did not know that that's what that name got. So I'm not gonna say what that anime is because I didn't know that's what they were going to use as the pseudonym for the English title. So I'm not talking about that anime. Don't even ask. Well, that's actually a really good cover art. So this anime is called I Will Parry All. And I guess there's a subtext of the world's strongest man, wanna be an adventurer.
Now I'm curious.
No.
You can't do that.
No, because it's like super incriminating. Like you'll get the wrong idea. You'll get the wrong idea if I say what the name of it is. Yeah, the I Will Parry All anime is pretty good. So it's like one of those things where it's just like he doesn't know that he's the strongest character. That's kind of fun. There's a lot of like, I think.
Try mean spoon 5Q.
No. This is gonna be a VOD. Like I can't just say. Okay, so apparently, all right, fine. I'll say it. Let me get the actual. So the Japanese title is Gime Saikatsu, and apparently they decided to name this anime in English Days with My Stepsister. Which I was like, why? Like there's no like emoto in the title.
From spoon 5Q to spoon 5Q.
So the point of the story is like, so main MC's dad remarries after I think his wife dies.
We all know where this will go.
Right? This is why I dropped it. So guy, and I was interested in it because I was curious what like the culture behind like getting remarried it would be like in Japan, because it's not ever really like talked about, because it's usually like somebody just like, you know, like you're like unless like the dad goes and gets a carton of milk, like the parents are like together like all the time. So I was curious like what this one was going to be like, because it's so different. So it's like MC's dad's wife, or I guess his mom dies. The MC's dad remarries, and he basically gets this stepdaughter, or not stepdaughter. Sorry, he gets the stepsister. I'm getting perspective mixed up. So the story is about the boy, not the dad. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like when reading the synopsis, it kind of leads into like they might develop feelings, but it's like vague. And it's like, yeah, no, and then like, yeah. And I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm good. That was the whole reason why I watched it though. Like, it's like, what is remarried culture like in Japan? So I was curious. What else?
It's anime, of course it will.
I mean, whatever. I've got nothing else to say. And then like all the other like anime, like Saturday is like where all of them get dropped. So let's see. I was going to watch My Hero, then I watched a little bit of it, like the recap series that happened prior to the current season dropping, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm good. I was like, there's a reason why I stopped watching this. My Hero is not good. And it sucks because it was started out real strong, and then it's just like once it got to a certain point, it just wasn't interesting. Like all of a sudden it's a war with the villains and people are losing whatever. Okay, so I was looking at the next anime that I was going to bring up. And okay, I was gonna say the Japanese title is stupidly long if you like directly translate it from Japanese, which whatever. So the anime in English is called Nobody's Way Up to a Nobody's Way Up to an Exploration Hero. So it kind of sounds like a self-help book or whatever. And yeah, so that was interesting. It's a dungeon.
We love long titles, ha ha.
Yeah, I couldn't even. It's so ridiculous. Like if you were to directly translate it from the Japanese. But yeah, it's basically like there's a dungeon, you go into the dungeon, you fight monsters, you get drops and currency, or you get drops, you sell them, you get money, blah blah blah, this, blah blah blah, that. But apparently there's like drops that involve summon cards. Not quite like Card Captor's Sakura. Or Sakura if you're a weeb. And MC gets two like servant drops within the span of like 2 or 3 episodes, and one of them is like an SSR 5-star like Valkyrie, and then the other one is like an SSR 5-star like Vanduke Devil. But because of their level, they look like freaking lollies. But they're like super dope and strong. And then the ending sequence for like the when the show's over, it shows that they like transform into adult versions of themselves, which has not technically happened in the series yet, which makes me kind of curious, because there's like, how many episodes are we? So we're like 11 episodes in, and that hasn't really happened yet. So I have this weird sneaking suspicion that this might be a 2-core series. Meaning, okay, so for the people that aren't in the know in terms of like anime, like terminology, so a core means a series, like a season, right? So if you are a single core, then you're 12 episodes. If you're a 2-core, then you're 2 episodes, like you're 24 episodes and stuff like that. So, and it's usually not like, doesn't usually deviate past that. There's been very little anime that have been multi-core to the extent of like the Shonen Jump series, like Bleach or One Piece. I think we're like really like going away from that, where we're breaking, because I think My Hero Academia was like the first like Shonen Jump series that like promulgated the like, we're gonna take a break after every so many episodes. And the reason why they do that is to like give the manga like room to breathe, so that, and as well as like the people that are doing the anime, so that they're not having to like create filler, which is cool, right? Because like not everybody likes filler. Not everything can be like the Mount Saga from Bleach. But yeah, I have a feeling this one's gonna be a 2-core. What's this one in English? This is an anime that I started but decided to stop because I was like, I don't see where this is going. So apparently this one is called Why Does Nobody Remember Me in This World? It's sort of, so it starts out with the MC like going through a daily process, and then all of a sudden like he, oh my gosh, what's it called? What's that anime called? Where dude drops into a different, like a parallel timeline. Oh my gosh, what was it? So it starts out with like there was an explosion in a building, and then all of a sudden like nobody, and then all of a sudden he's like apparently in a different timeline. I don't, what is it called? Anime about parallel universe, I guess. No, it's not, it's totally not. Parallel timeline? No, I'm not, it's not Fate Stay Night. That is a different thing. Anime, let me Google search this more with about guy falling into a parallel timeline. I'll know it if I see it. Tsubasa? Reservoir Chronicles? What? That looks like, that just looks like Cardcaptor Sakura characters. What is that? Oh my gosh. Oh, Steins Gate. That's what it is. So basically, like, dude Steins Gate into a different timeline where, like, he's not a part of. So, like, everything from...
Says an alternate timeline, kinda.
Oh, it is? Okay. Maybe I might put that on my backlog. But yeah, dude Steingate's into a different universe, and then like tries to, but like he still has his tech and stuff. It's really weird. I was like, nah, like this is not doing it for me. So I dropped that one. More Monogatari stuff. I didn't. Tower of God has been, so season 2 of Tower of God also started up, and it's kind of one of those things where I wasn't, how do I put this? It's not how I thought season 2 was going to start. I'm gonna avoid spoilers just in case people haven't seen the first season. But like, I definitely wasn't expecting it to start the way it did. And it's kind of in like a lull. So you're kind of like getting reintroduced to the main MC after the events of what happened in season 1. But like, he's kind of in this bad boy arc where he's like, don't mess with me, I'm a bad guy, blah blah blah, this, you know, like he's piggy banking off of a reputation of him something else. But yeah, it's like weird, which it just feels so different in comparison to the first season, and it's like kind of a hard vibe. Like like I'm not vibing with it, but I'm looking forward to seeing what ends up happening with it. I don't know what is this one in English? Stories, Wand and Sword. So it's about a dude who's like a warrior who fell in love with a wizard girl. Well, I guess witch, right? Female wizard is a witch, right? That's how that works. Yeah. But whatever. But I falls in love with this girl who's a magic practitioner, who's like a gifted genius from their childhood, and he goes to, but he has zero ability with magic. He's like a hero, like basically like the warrior hero, like reincarnation or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of baffling me. It's like, I don't know if he's like supposed to be some sort of super hero-esque person in this fantasy world, or if he's just like born of a unique lineage that lets him have like super strength and super speed. But like, he's going to this magic academy to learn magic and elevate himself into the academy so that he could reunite with his childhood friend, who is apparently I don't think I can say that, a master wizard. I think I can say master wizard without it being weird. But yeah, it's interesting.
send each other memes.
That time I got reincarnated as a VTuber. Okay. I mean, we do that a lot. But actually, yeah, there is like a VTuber anime that's going on right now too. And it's basically,
I watched Kez.
yeah. And it's basically like this VTuber who was kind of like in a part of a, basically a part of this like anime world Hololive. And apparently she was like the lowest, like the least watched person. And then she forgets to end stream. So she gets mashed. Like she gets drunk and starts like commentating on other people's like the other VTubers in her group's streams and like saying some like crazy stuff, dude. So kind of like me when I was in Bunny's stream, like what was that, like 4 days ago? But like not live. But like but that ends up happening, and then all of a sudden she skyrockets in popularity. And I'm just like, I'm afraid that this might happen.
Hello Bunny. Kazooie finger guns.
Yeah. Love the new emote though. And then that's kind of it. Like there's not really that many other anime. Like there's probably like a couple that I probably could talk about, but like those are the big. Oh, actually, there was, what is it? I think this is actually like, this is how I know that I've become a snob with.
You held yourself back. I was curious. Ha, ha.
There was this this is how I know that I'm a snob when it comes to like slice of life animes. And it's it is an anime called Too Many Losing Heroines. So basically it's like an anime that follows like a bunch of girls that have like childhood, like who like get dumped by their like childhood crush, and they're like trying to like reconcile with that, and or they're like struggling with being in love with their childhood crush. And like one of the characters that I'm probably just going to associate her with like Saltoon, because it's just so animated. Like she's just that kind of girl. But like she has this statement in the anime where there's two types of girls. There's the childhood friend and the homewrecker. I was like, can you say that? I'm like, dang. But yeah, it's fun. But the reason why I say that I'm sort of a snob with it, because it's like, it's a really well animated like slice of life. It's like, I won't watch this slice of life unless it's like some killer cool like animation where like the hair flow is like crazy and on point. But then there's like those slice of lives that are just like too crazy animated. That's like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm trying to remember.
I have dated both those girls. Arashi 64.
But it's but the anime is sort of like the, so it follows this dude who is like self-ascribed like background character, and like he gets like somehow roped into these scenarios with these girls, and it's like follows like 3 specific girls, and they're just, they're like just, it's so hard to like talk about because it's like it's so fun, and I could just gush about like the animation of it. But like, yeah, there's I'm trying to remember. So the studio that's working on it is A1 Pictures, and they do a lot of really good, like they have a good track record for like really good anime. Like I'm looking at it right now. They've done all the Sword Art Onlines. They've done oh, what's that? I forget what that's called. In Erased. Erased was a great anime. They also did Your Lie in April. So they're good. But there's like this one studio that like makes these like crazy slice of life. Let me see if I can find it. So this was, let's see, let's hop into the archive and see. I think this was probably like the spring of last year. No, it was probably farther along than that. Dude, no wait, spring 20. That was this year. Holy crap. Sorry, they already have like 2025 stuff announced. I'm like completely forgot that we were still in 2024. It was like an anime about this dude who had a crush on this girl who was super nearsighted and would constantly forget her glasses. And like, I would think that would be like just a fun little rom-com to watch, but like it was so ridiculous. Like it just got boring really quick. It's like you can't really like, there's only so many scenarios you can get in. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm getting close. But I'm also at this point where I'm like looking for this for far too long, so I don't want to continue. It's like an awful like maybe a Google search will anime about a guy who likes a girl whom constantly forgets their glasses. Oh, I found it. Cool. That's funny. Who would have thought that the anime would just be called The Girl I Like Forgets Her Glasses? Like, I would have thought it would have been something completely different. That's just the English title of it. But that is from a studio called Go Hands, and they do a lot of anime that have like absurdly high budgets that end up like not like, I always end up like becoming like disinterested in it partway through. It's like, why can't you make something that's cool? It's like every single one of these anime that that are on their list of like, I'm just like, you almost have like a cool concept for each of these animes. You just like, you get lost in the sauce and like it becomes uninteresting. I don't even know where they get their money. That's the crazy part. Like, these animes have absurdly high budgets. And you can always tell because it's always at the start of like the series. Like, they do like the most craziest like water animation. Like JoJo's done it in like a lot of their series. Like part 3, part 4, like they start out with like these stupidly animated water. That's like, why did you put so much water in, like so much effort in animating this water? And that's supposed to be like really hard to do. But I think like the other thing that's probably like hard to do in like animation is like drawing horses. Nobody, I know this for a fact. Nobody in the anime industry likes drawing horses. That's like common knowledge. And then there's like Shadowverse Flame. Wait, what's this one? Oh, this one. I remember this one. Yeah, I'm good. That was like a Netflix CGI anime. I'm good. Yeah, my threshold for like CGI in anime is very low. I'm like, yeah, no. As soon as I notice that the anime is just completely CGI, I just like, nope, I'm good. I was like, I would rather play a video game than watch an anime that is animated with CGI. Especially when it's not, especially when the anime isn't even at like 60 FPS. It's crazy. That's a joke for Kaz.
Worst offender is Berserk 2016.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Dude. Dude, I saw that and I was like, that's crazy. And I think the other offender of that would probably be Sailor Moon Crystal, and I know Minato is going through that on her Patreon. Go check her out. She's awesome. That's Minato Zachi. She's going through Sailor Moon Crystal, and they have CGI like Maho Shoujo transformation scenes, and it's like, why would you do that? How do you really not have the money to afford Sailor Moon's like magical girl transformation scenes? Like, that's crazy. It's Sailor Moon, like one of the most like.
Also, Lamau, if it's not 60 FPS, I don't want it. Kazooie lol, Kazooie lol, Kazooie.
Exactly. caught that. He did catch it. That's good. But yeah, it was like one of those things where just like, it's Sailor Moon. What do you can't get the money for a magical girl transformation for the Sailor Moon show? That's crazy, dog. Like, what are you thinking? Like, I remember that being such a point in concession when that Sailor Moon Crystal was originally airing. There were so many people that came out of the woodworks that did Sailor Moon transformation animations in spite of Sailor Moon Crystal having CGI transformations. Like I think there's a compilation video somewhere on YouTube where people are doing this like for free. And they all look amazing. I mean, there's some that are like not, but you know, give them an A for effort. But yeah, like but there were some that were just insane. Like you could tell that they actually cared. But yeah, that's my rant on CGI with an anime. I will not watch it. It does not matter how good the premise of the show is. If I see that there's a lot of CGI, I will not watch it. Like backgrounds might be like one of those things where it's like, okay, that's fine. But like when you're doing, because it's not really like traditional animation, which is what anime kind of is. Like granted, like it's a different kind of animation when it comes to like CGI, which granted, like also like Zenless Zone Zero's like cutscene animations and like their 3D stuff or their CGI is insane. Like there's no reason why Zenless Zone Zero's like cutscenes look as great as they do. Like that's some next level like CGI animation. Yeah, you know, I think that might actually be the thing. That might actually be like the exception to the rule. I think now that I think about it, like if they made an anime of Zenless Zone Zero with their budget of like creating animations, I think I would probably watch that. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, I'll double down on that one. I'll probably pay for it. I mean, I probably am.
Apparently a lot of people on the Bird app think Z's is over animated.
Over animated? Psh. People on Twix need to shut up. I am perfectly okay with the CGI with Zenless Zone Zero. Because it feels like actually like uncharacteristically alive. You also have to like understand like the mocap of like how like 3D like CGI mocap animation is. So you have to understand like, so there are how do I put it? So in traditional like Western games that feature like a lot of mocap, a lot of it's always like let's say Last of Us, for instance, like The Last of Us 2, for instance. Last of Us 2 is like a fucking walk and talk game for the most part. And like So they have like the animation. So they take the mocap, they apply the recording of the mocap to the skeleton of the model, and then there's that initial part of it, and then you have to do the after, what's it called, there's an actual like word for it, but it's basically like the after, like the second pass, in terms of like making sure that the fabrics and stuff are moving the right way on the model, and then probably in like hair flow and animations and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of animation that goes into 3D models and CGI, and that usually makes or breaks the game for the most part.
For me, I think the Z's team has figured out how to animate 3D models with the same bounce and snap of 2D animations, and I think people just can't wrap their head around it, just hate on it because Hoyoverse is usually surrounded by controversy.
Yeah. That's basically it. I think you like nailed it right there, actually. You have to apply, like, you do have to apply that level of like, well, what makes anime popular, and it's that like sharp like bounce. Yeah, the bounciness of it, the sharp movements and stuff like that, the facial expressions when you get a good one that actually is like showing off like how pretty the characters are. Yeah, I think you nailed it. But like the controversy for Hololive is like there aren't enough people that look tan or dark. Like that's the most prominent portion of like Hololive's controversy, is that there aren't enough dark skinned people. Like, whatever. It's like every culture has like has like a little bit of like dark skin. At least that's what like Natlin was. Like it's like everybody was just like, why are they like doing? There's one person that I commented on that was talking about this, that it was the Lolly Geo girl. Apparently her idol animation, the cool one, you know, where she's b-girling and like breakdancing and stuff. There was somebody who was like, they're doing capoeira, and capoeira is this Afro Central American dance that the slaves developed in order to like martial art that they developed to fight against their slave owners. And it's like, that's true, while like that is technically true, that did happen. However, capoeira has a specific like a specific idol stance that they do, where it's like the shifting of the arms and the footwork that is not present in her b-boying. So it's like, cool, you did your research, but you're wrong. Like I've literally breakdanced before, so I've done capoeira, I've done breakdancing. I know what both of those things look like, and capoeira does influence breakdancing to an extent, but breakdancing as its own thing. That's the most, and then like that's the newest of the controversies. And then there are like people that are saying that the 4-star Hydro character, no, the 5-star Hydro character doesn't have dark enough skin. It's like, what? I was like, this is central, like this is like central South American. Like there are a lot of like light skinned people in those parts of the world. And then they're like Kaya, and then Zinha. No, it's not Zin. Oh my gosh, is that her name? Zinya? The pyro girl from Leeway. That plays the rock.
I had an interaction similar to this with someone this morning. There's a ruckus about Mulan right now, but people are taking the right stance for the wrong reasons and in the wrong place.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Like they were saying that like they're like, oh, I can't believe that they would like I don't even remember what the controversy was with that. We're just like they assumed that it was just a black character, and it's like, dude, like, are you just like going to forget that the Philippines is right there in like Southern Asia also? Like there are dark-skinned Asians too, dog. Like what the fuck? But yeah, it's the right thing, sort of, but for the wrong reasons in the wrong place. Exactly. It's like, yeah, you could do research and be technically right on what you're saying, but it's just completely wrong. I don't know. I'm too pragmatic, and I do devil's advocate like too much, but it's like one of those things where it's like, well, at least I'm thinking about why they made the choices they made. You're just like, oh, that's terrible, blah 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 this, blah 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 that, and it's like, well, yeah, there's like the demographic in South America is like 40 something percent of like light skinned Spanish people. Like that's kind of why that's there. And I actually
I have to get back to work now, but good talk, homie.
yeah.
I could catch more of your streams, lol. Have a good one, brother Arashi64 cool.
Yeah. Actually, this is the first time I've done like just a straight like I'm just gonna talk stream. So it's one of those things. But yeah, it's like 41% of South America has light-skinned Spanish people, and I had this conversation where it's just like I might still have it up on Twitter somewhere, but I was like, if I was in a position where I was teaching the culture of like where I'm from, like I would much rather teach people who were willing to learn the culture and do the work to appropriate the things that I love into their life, so that they can take what I've taught them to the next generation. And like people just don't seem to really understand like what it's like. Who cares if the person that has done the work to be a ambassador of this culture doesn't look like the person that taught them. It's just kind of crazy. Like the times change, and so you gotta not care who inherits what culture that they're like wanting to be a part of. But I need to start getting ready for work. This was great. I don't know if I could probably have like a straight 2.5 hour stream where I'm just talking and venting about things that are happening in the video game and anime industry. So this was fun. I liked it a lot, and I'm I don't know. Do I have enough people to merit doing a raid? Probably not. No, I don't. But yeah, this was fun. I might do this again. Hopefully if there's like some sort of like crazy controversy going on. Crazy isn't like stupid. Like maybe I might like dip in and like have a moment in each of the streams where something's happening in the video game industry. In anime, obviously. But yeah, thanks for keeping me company and helping me like articulate points better. It's one of those things where it's like you gotta like clearly define, like gotta vent out your grievances and like to try to like form a more articulate position for why things are the way they are and why it sucks or why it's good. Like good for virtues for virtue's sake is not good. Yeah, my tolerance has just been really low recently for little things like that. But no, this was fun. I don't look like I have enough people to merit a raid. So I'm probably just gonna dip on out. I will say later on I will be back Thursday. I'll probably actually be playing a game. Probably the Alchemist of Alribus Academy from last week. So I was going to stream over the weekend, specifically like Saturday. I was going to play Pow World on stream, but I was so consumed with playing Pow World that I forgot to stream. Which was totally my bad. But yeah. I will catch you guys Thursday, and thanks for swinging by. And let's dip on over to the end stream, and I will relieve you of your charity work of watching me stream. So yeah.